The story of the Japanese Empire is a fascinating journey spanning millennia, from the mythological origins of Emperor Jimmu to the heights of modern imperial power and its transformation into a constitutional monarchy. The empire has left a deep mark on world history. In this video, we'll dive into the rise, reign, and legacy of the Japanese Empire. Let's begin. Our journey begins in the mists of legend. Japanese mythology tells the story of Emperor Jimmu, a direct descendant of the sun goddess Amaterasu. According to ancient texts, Jimmu united warring clans and established the Yamato dynasty in 660 BCE, while historical evidence of Jimmu is scarce. This origin story has served as a cornerstone of Japan's imperial identity. Fast forward to the Asuka and Nara periods. From the 6th to 8th centuries, when Japan began adopting Chinese influences, Buddhism arrived and spread rapidly, shaping Japanese culture and governance. At this time, the emperor was seen as both a political leader and a divine intermediary, connecting the earthly realm to the gods. During the Nara period, Japan's first centralized state emerged, with the establishment of a formal legal code, census systems, and the construction of the magnificent city of Nara, inspired by China's Chang'an. This era set the stage for a long-standing imperial system and deep-rooted traditions that would endure for centuries. By the 12th century, the emperor's power began to wane as Japan transitioned into a feudal society. The samurai class rose to prominence, and powerful military leaders or shoguns effectively ruled the nation. The Kamakura shogunate, established in 1192, marked the first of three major military governments that would dominate Japan for over 700 years. Despite the shogun's control, the emperor remained a vital cultural and religious figure, residing in Kyoto and overseeing court rituals. This symbolic role reinforced the idea of an unbroken divine lineage, even as political authority slipped away. During this period, Japan faced external threats, including the attempted Mongol invasions in the late 13th century. Though the Mongols' fleets were destroyed by typhoons later called kamikaze, or divine winds, the invasions exposed weaknesses in Japan's feudal system, leading to internal strife among the samurai clans. In the late 16th century, Japan underwent a dramatic unification under three iconic leaders: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. By 1603, Ieyasu established the Tokugawa shogunate, ushering in over 250 years of relative peace and stability, known as the Edo period. Under Tokugawa rule, Japan adopted a policy of sakoku, or national seclusion. The country remained isolated from most of the world, allowing its culture to flourish independently. During this time, the emperor lived in seclusion in Kyoto, focusing on ceremonial duties, while the Tokugawa family controlled the political and military realms from Edo, modern-day Tokyo. However, isolation could not last forever. By the mid-19th century, growing Western influence and internal unrest threatened to dismantle the Tokugawa system. In 1853, American Commodore Matthew Perry arrived in Japan with a fleet of black ships, demanding the country open its ports to trade. This marked the end of Japan's isolation. The subsequent political upheaval led to the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate in 1868 and the restoration of Imperial rule under Emperor Meiji. The Meiji Restoration was a turning point in Japanese history. The emperor, now just 16 years old, became the symbolic head of a rapidly modernizing nation. feudal domains were abolished, and Japan adopted Western technologies, military practices, and legal systems. By the late 19th century, Japan's industrialization was in full swing. The empire's newfound strength was showcased in its victories over China in the First Sino-Japanese War and Russia in the Russo-Japanese War. The first time an Asian power defeated a European power in modern history. Japan was now a rising imperial force. The early 20th century saw Japan expand its influence across Asia. Korea was annexed in 1910. And during World War I, Japan seized German territories in the Pacific. By the 1930s, however, Japan's imperial ambitions took a darker turn. Economic struggles during the Great Depression and the rise of militarism led to aggressive territorial expansion. In 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria, establishing a puppet state called Manchukuo. In 1937, full-scale war broke out with China, resulting in devastating atrocities such as the Nanjing Massacre. In 1940, Japan joined the Axis powers and pursued its vision of a greater East Asia co-prosperity sphere. This vision culminated in the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, bringing the United States into World War II at its peak. The Japanese Empire controlled vast territories across Asia and the Pacific. But this dominance was short-lived. The tide turned in 1942, after major defeats at the Battle of Midway and in the Pacific Islands. By 1945, Japan faced devastating bombings, including the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender, marking the end of World War II and the empire's ambitions. After the war, Japan underwent profound changes. Under the U.S.-led occupation, a new constitution was adopted in 1947, renouncing war and redefining the emperor's role as a symbolic figurehead. Emperor Hirohito, once considered a living god, publicly renounced his divine status, a moment that marked a dramatic shift in Japan's history. Despite these changes, the imperial family remained central to Japan's cultural identity. The country rebuilt itself into a global economic powerhouse, known for its technological innovation, resilience, and cultural contributions. Today, Emperor Naruhito continues the imperial legacy as the 126th emperor in Japan's unbroken lineage. The chrysanthemum throne, while symbolic, represents centuries of history and the enduring spirit of the Japanese people. The history of the Japanese Empire is a testament to the power of resilience, transformation, and cultural identity. From its mythical beginnings with Emperor Jimmu, the unbroken lineage of the chrysanthemum throne has served as a symbol of unity and continuity for Japan, even during times of great upheaval. The empire's story is one of contrasts, a nation steeped in ancient traditions, yet bold enough to embrace modernization, a culture that valued harmony yet pursued war and conquest in its quest for power. These complexities make Japan's history both captivating and instructive. At its height, the Japanese Empire was a formidable force, reshaping the political and cultural landscapes of Asia and the Pacific. Its military conquests and wartime actions, however, left deep scars both within Japan and in the countries it occupied. The legacy of this era serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the human cost of imperialism. In the aftermath of World War II, Japan's ability to rebuild and redefine itself stands as one of the most remarkable. transformations in modern history. By adopting a pacifist constitution, embracing democracy, and focusing on technological and economic innovation, Japan emerged as a leader on the global stage, not through military power, but through creativity, diplomacy, and hard work. Today, the emperor's role may be purely symbolic, but it remains deeply meaningful to the Japanese people. As the spiritual head of the nation, the emperor represents an enduring link to Japan's ancient past, while also serving as a unifying figure in a modern, rapidly changing society. Emperor Naruhito, the 126th monarch, embodies this balance honoring tradition while navigating the challenges of the 21st century. As we reflect on the legacy of the Japanese Empire, we see a story that is both unique and universal. It reminds us that even the greatest powers are subject to the tides of history, but also that nations, like individuals, have the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow. Thank you for taking this journey through Japan's incredible history with us. If you enjoyed this exploration, please support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and leaving your thoughts in the comments below. What lessons from Japan's imperial past resonate with you today? And as always, remember, understanding the past helps us build a better future. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.